crystal eyes, colors of the sky. Gray bushy beard, Santa's look alike. Shine on your brothers on earth, suffering, living joy, or in pain. Blue crystal eyes, colors of the sky. Gray bushy beard, Santa look alike. Shine on your brothers on earth, suffering, living joy, or in pain. Bezerra de Menezes, Apostle of the good, receive our prayers and also our heart. Bezerra de Menezes, Apostle of the light, place our pain at the feet of Jesus Christ. Source of love that radiates, warming up our cold night, support and comfort, support and comfort, cascades flow down the mountain, calling the children of earth with love in their heart, with love in their heart. My soul never loses hope, because your love always teaches me the solution lies in hard work. The solution lies in hard work. For my mother's Farina, harvest of wonderful blessings. Make you, small son, a good Christian. Make you, small son, a good Christian.
Sometimes it's not so easy. Sometimes it's not so close. Sometimes we build our dreams, but then we see them decompose. When you feel down the dumps, feeling sad and blue, give life a chance, my friend, the sun will shine again on you. Believe you can come through. The rainy days are true. Have little faith in you. Maybe tomorrow you can dream all your dreams again. Though some sorrow remains, it doesn't mean the end. Believe you can come through. The rainy days are true. Sometimes okay to feel blue. Have little faith in you. Dream all your dreams again. Though some sorrow remains, your dreams can get you through. Have little faith in you.
When I go in to pray, I look for my good Jesus. And when I close my eyes, I can feel all His light. I open my heart for all He has to say. He shows me the best way I can enjoy my life. Jesus, they never we apart. Please bring all your light to shine inside my heart. Jesus, Jesus, I can be content. I have your endless love and your protecting hand.
Comme la nuit tombée à Capharnaüm, la maison de pierre si simple, un foyer commun, s'emplissait de paix dans son cœur chacun, recueillait les paroles de lumière du Maître divin. Il me plaît de rêver, de me trouver aussi aux côtés de Jean, Simon, Jacques, André et Lévi, de planter dans nos âmes la sémence de la foi. chez Pierre j'entendrai sa voix à dire tu sens cette brise la lune, tu la vois, il faut repartir tout comme elle, puisque telle est la loi, et pendant ta prière en famille, tous les jours on se reverra. Et je m'imagine enfant à cet endroit-là, peut-être Jésus m'inviterait à sortir un soir dans les jardins de chez Pierre, j'entendrai sa voix à dire tu sens cette brise la lune, tu la vois, il faut repartir tout comme elle, puisque telle est la loi, et pendant ta prière en famille, tous les jours on se reverra, et pendant ta prière en famille, tous les jours on se reverra.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. Welcome to our public meeting. We thank everyone for joining us tonight. Before we start, we would like to share a couple of announcements. We ask you to turn off your phone notifications and find a quiet place during this time if possible. Our meeting will have a 30 minutes presentation followed by Q&A. Then, after the presentation, we will have a spiritual treatment with passes and magnetized water. So, we invite you to set aside a container with water to be magnetized. We would like to announce that our public meeting is being retransmitted today by Continental Conference Americas through their Facebook and will also be retransmitted every Wednesday at 8 p.m. by Kardec Radio through their Facebook and YouTube. We have a special invitation for who wants to learn more about Spiritism. Every Saturday at 5:15 p.m. East, we have an online and free course. It calls Get to Know to Spiritism. The next class will be on Saturday, October 28th. So it's just like a little mistake on this slide. So it's going to be 28. And the theme of this Saturday meeting will be discarnation. So what an amazing topic, right? So if you are interested, join us. The registration link will be posted in the chat. We offer virtual live gospel at home. Did you know that? The gospel at home is an effective support for you and your family's spiritual harmony. We will motivate and guide you in establishing and maintaining the gospel at home study meetings. So by posting the chat, you can request it. So please let us know. You are welcome to include your or someone else's names on the list of positive vibration for incarnate or discarnate. The person you indicate will be assisted by the good spirits to provide healing energy and strengthen goodwill. So please find the link in our chat. The topic of today's meeting is the tree is known by its fruit. From chapter 21, there will be false Christs and false prophets. Items 1 to 5, which will be facilitated by our brother Rodrigo from Winnipeg. Everyone is welcome to write comments and questions in the chat, and we will address the questions at the end of the talk. So now I would like to invite our tonight's speaker that will also do our opening prayer as well. So welcome, Rodrigo.
Hello, Marceli. How are you?
I'm great. How are you today?
So far, so good.
Yeah, how is the weather in Winnipeg?
Not that bad for Winnipeg standpoint.
Okay, so this is a good news, right?
Yep. It's not snowing yet. The good news.
That's great. Okay, I'll see you later.
I'll see you. Thank you.
Bye.
Good evening, everyone. I would like to invite those that are live. If you wish to close your eyes and elevate our thoughts to the good spirits, to our Master, to God, our Creator. We are very thankful for the opportunity tonight where we can learn a little bit more about your teachings, your message of love, your message that consoles those in pain and suffer. The message that make us to understand the moral obligations that we have. The teachings that give us a direction. It become the GPS of our lives. Good spirits, Master, please bless us tonight. Help us to be a tool that can help us to communicate your teachings in the most pure essence. That you can help us to understand, to comprehend, to reflect, analyze, and make changes in our lives, to help in our progression, in our development, that we can become better human beings. Please inspire and illuminate all of us tonight during these teachings, that the knowledge shared here could be expanded to those, especially those that are in need. We ask you permission to start the studies tonight, always asking your blessing and asking that we always be with you because we know that you never abandon us. So be it. All right, good evening, everyone. Just give me a second. Okay, I'm going to share my screen with you. Just 1 second. So I assuming you are seeing my screen. All right, so as Marcel said at the beginning, my talk will be related to the tree is known by its fruit. This is from the chapter 21. There will be false Christs and false prophets, items 1 and 5. So it'll be quite interesting tonight because we're going to notice that Jesus knew humans quite well. And today is an invitation that we start our reflection regarding this chapter 21st. So I'm talking the first 5 chapters, but there'll be 3 more talks after me. So they talk about, as I said before, there will be false Christ and false prophets. And especially today, we're going to focus on the content. relate to the tree is known by its fruit. And here, Kardec and Jesus are inviting us to reflect deeply on this topic and also about ourselves. I would like to start this talk with a message from Luke 6 43 45. And I want you to pay attention here. So the tree that produces bad fruit is not good, and the tree that produces good fruit is not bad. For each tree is known by its own fruit. Okay, so when you think about that, so I would like to remind you that Jesus always used daily examples and parables to teach highly elevate moral concepts. Don't get by mistake that is a simplistic teaching. So it's quite complex, and we understand according our level of evolution. I just want to remind you as well, as a great teacher and mentor, his teaching was accordingly to the spiritual level of his followers. So Jesus could not speak very deeply in that time because most of his followers were people that doesn't have a lot of education. It doesn't mean that spiritually they are not advanced, because we know that there are two different things. But he is speaking according to the followers and the people there that he was dealing with. Then he continues here. He used the analogy of a good tree and a bad tree, and then talk about, oh, look at this example. Figs cannot be picked from thorn bushes, nor can bunches of grapes be cut from briars. Then he continues, a good man brings forth good things from the good treasure of his heart, whereas the evil man, and when you see man here, so remember this book was wrote in 1850s, so the language wasn't, when we see man here, it means humankind. So brings forth good things from the good treasures of his heart, or her heart, as we know nowadays, a better term to use. Whereas the evil man takes evil things from the evil treasure of his heart. For the mouth speaks from what fills the heart. This is a great lesson from Jesus. Basically, if you summarize everything here, you can tell this. Every people give what they have inside them. That's why sometimes we cannot make other people and be offended sometimes. I know that's hard, but we have to try to understand that if people treat you badly all the time, unfortunately, it's sad to say, but at that moment is the only thing they can give. And that's not much can be done in that moment. But we don't need to be that way if we don't want. And then we need to reflect, because if I'm a good person, I have good actions and good words come from my mouth. So, and the other way, or vice versa, is also true. Then I would like to continue with Matthew. And in Matthew, Jesus is teaches and warning us to be aware of false prophets who come to you covered in the skins of sheep, but who on the inside are ravenous wolves. And see how Jesus used a lot of nature to teach and give an example. Like a sheep is considered someone or an animal that's very calm. They always under control. But then you have the wolves. That are the traitors, right? The wolves, they attack the good people. So then Jesus is using those nature analogies because it makes it easy for us to understand what he meant by that. We'll know them by their fruit, Now he's connected three, which basically means here. So good people, most of the time, because we're not perfect, has good actions. And sometimes when they don't have the best action, sometimes they did it with the best of intentions, but sometimes the intention was good, but the way that the output was, the outcome wasn't that perfect because we're not perfect. But the intention matters a lot. And Jesus continued to connect to the previous one. Can grace be picked from those thorn bushes or figs from briars? Thus, every tree that is good produces good fruit, and every tree that is bad produces bad fruit. As you see here, Kardec is bringing Matthew and Luke to see that they have the same understanding of Jesus' teaching that time. It's slightly changing here and there, but the main teaching is holding there that what we do, we have inside us. A good tree cannot produce bad fruit, nor can a bad tree produce a good fruit. Every tree that does not produce good fruit, you'll be cut down and cast into the fire. Hence, you know them by their fruit. So here you can be a little bit like scared, like, whoa, wait a minute. So then what is that? It's going to cut and it's going to throw the cast down fire. So remember that Jesus used those allegorical images to help people reflect, to shake it like the status quo. So what it really means here, what is really cut down that Jesus is talking about here is our vices. That's why we need to cut down and set fire. So why fire? Because fire burns, eliminates what is bad. So if you have a bad tree, for example, you set fire. So those tree stop to existing because it's burning to ashes. So that's the suggestion that Jesus is giving us here in the warnings. So we should start working ourselves to become better and better. Then we can really vanish as much as possible our vices. So, what is this meaning of these messages? I would like to bring this for us to reflect. So, this is the tree, but what the tree really represents. Basically, this talking, the tree really represents humankind. So, we all trees, and our fruits are our thoughts, our sentiments, our emotions, and our words. That's why we have to be very careful with our thoughts because our thoughts generates sentiments and emotions that becomes our words. For example, if I'm very, very, very angry with someone, my thoughts are vibrating that energy. Then my sentiments carry that energy. Then when I say this is gonna be given. But the other way around as well, kindness. So when you kind and you have a difficult situation, then you have kindful thoughts and you have a nice sentiments, then generate good emotions and reasonable emotions, and your words will be wise. Remember that Jesus here is giving us advice on how to recognize his followers, the follower of his teachings. And what are the followers of Jesus? Are those that try to be good, to have good thoughts, good sentiments, good emotions, and consequently, good words. Jesus' warning here is quite clear. Many who come use his name to deceive us. So take care so that no one deceives you. For many will come in my name saying, I'm the Christ, and they will deceive many. Many false prophets will appear who will deceive many people. And because iniquity will abound, the charity of many will grow cold. But he who or she perseveres to the end, you'll be saved. Therefore, if someone says to you, the Christ is here or the Christ is there, do not believe him. For false Christ and false prophets will appear and will perform great prodigies and amazing things to the point of deceiving the elect themselves if possible. So this is a big warning that Jesus is really showing us that he comprehends humanity. He knows that a lot of people use his name, even gonna do many things that look like a miracle, look like amazing in his name, but they're not come from Jesus. And how do you know that? Jesus give the recipe. You know a tree by its fruit. Good tree give us good fruit. So that's why doesn't matter what people say, it really matters what they do because that is speaking the treasure of their heart. Jesus is quite very clear and very clever to show us. So be careful with the words, be careful how people tell you things, if they are representing me or not. So just watch what they do. And that's why we need to know to recognize Jesus' moral teachings. That's key because then we have antidote to fall on those traps. And again, this is why he said the tree is known by its fruit. People give what they have in their hearts. If we go in any place they're talking about religious or other beliefs, and then when they're not in that environment, they treat people badly, we are really being true followers of the moral teachings. Because that happens. Sometimes you go to a place and be careful what you expect because you expect perfection from human beings, you're going to be disappointed. Just remember, look, if they are good people most of the time, sometimes if they do a mistake, try to talk to them and understand the intention because sometimes we make mistakes trying to help. However, some people they really want to, go and work behind our back, gossip around, put people against each other. So guess what? Bad tree, bad fruit. So then Kardec here brings a very interesting reflection about the mission of prophets because we need to understand and Kardec contextualized in this item number 4. He start talking about the interpretation of Jesus' teaching and invite us to a rational reflection about it. Because the problem sometimes when we read the Bible without very strong spiritual eyes, we get caught because we don't understand. And Kardec help us to reflect. So in the item number 4, Kardec contextualized how the word prophet was understood at time. So in the Jesus time, prophets are commonly perceived as possessing the gift of being able to reveal the future. Especially if you go to Old Testament, so there are that understanding. So that's the words prophecies and predictions have become synonymous. That's what happened. But Kardec here bring another idea that is in evangelical sense, the word prophet has a broader meaning. What is that meaning? The broader meaning of prophet. It applies to all who have being sent by God with the mission of instructing humankind and revealing hidden the things and mystery of the spiritual life. So this is open up. So then a person can be a prophet without making predictions. And Kardec here bring another reflection because in the past we all believe that prophets are those that do prophecies that can predict the future. And here Kardec is saying that while everyone that was sent by God, basically all of us, but some of us has a mission. For example, you can be a spiritual leader, you can be a religious leader. Those one they have the ability and access to instruct humankind, and that they can be considered a prophet without making predictions. You can using an analogy that prophets is like a teacher, and any teacher you can think of. So, and he continued giving more context for us to help reflect on Jesus' teaching. That was the notion of the Jews during the time of Jesus, that prophecies and prophets could do prophecies, they could predict the future. Thus, when he was taken before the high priest Caiaphas, the assembled scribes and elders spat in his face, struck him with their fists, and insulted him by saying, Christ, prophesy for us and tell us who struck you. So that's interesting how ignorant people deal with some things they cannot comprehend. And this here is a clear example. They did everything this with Christ because their understanding about prophecy is someone that can predict the future. So they do all these barbarities to say and play this game with Jesus. Now, if you are that powerful and making fun of him, so tell who struck you. And we knew by that Jesus knew everything that was happening, but he didn't fall for those traps because he doesn't need to. He know himself. So sometimes that's what we do in life. Some people like to provoke us and unleash the worst of us, and we fall for those traps. So what we need to try to do is control our emotions and understand what advantage I have if I engage to that situation. What's the benefits? How about if I don't engage like Jesus didn't here? He didn't respond. Even though he was being humiliated by ignorant people. And Jesus loved us so much that it not even bother him, to be honest. I think the most he feels sad for us that we're still so primitive in our feelings and how we understand things. But if we can handle this way, it'll be quite interesting. And the Kardec explained that nevertheless there have been instances in which prophets have had foreknowledge of the future. That happened, especially older times, whether by intuition or by providential revelation in order to transmit warnings to humankind. Since such predictive events actually occurred, so a lot of things that happened that was said in the Old Testament happened. Some people recognize, some people don't. The gift of predicting the future come to be regarded as one of the attributes of a prophet. That's why we create this tradition of the prophets are those that can predict the future. And that's where the tradition came. So, but Kardec is quite interesting because he brought this approach now to another discussion that's okay. So, what Jesus said that prodigies performed by false prophets. So, he mentioned that people come on my name. So, then you have false prophets that you do prodigious things And you'll be even surprised, and some people are going to believe them. So in the item 5, Kardec continues reflecting and analyze Jesus' teachings. And look at this. False Christ and false prophets you appear. So that's Jesus saying. Who will perform great prodigies and amaze things to the point of deceiving the elect themselves. And here Kardec analyzes and say these words provide the true meaning of the term prodigy. So that's what a prodigy is. Some people that do amazing, extraordinary things. And that time, people used to believe in miracles. What's a miracle? What's a prodigy? It's just an ability to do something extraordinary. And he continued contextualizing to make us reflect more about what Jesus was trying to tell us. According to the theological definition, prodigies and miracles are exceptional phenomena that occur outside the laws of nature. And that's the difference between Spiritism. We understand that everything that happens obey the laws of universe created by God. So everything is related to laws of nature. Since the laws of nature are the work of God exclusively, God could obviously derogate from them if so desired. See how Kardec approached here to make us reflect? However, simple common sense says that God could not have possibly given uninvolved and perverse beings a power equal to divine power, and even less the right to undo what God has done. So when Kardec brings that concept to us, it's really shaking us to start moving from the emotional and blind faith to a faith based on reason. Because if you think about what he said here, it's hard to make sense, right? So that God give all this power to uninvolved and perverse beings, and they can do what God can do. That's why sometimes we see a lot of people talk about evil all the time. The evil you control, the evil gonna do this, the evil gonna do that. So, like, really, is that God so powerless? And what was Jesus so powerless that evil can overcome good? So we need to analyze this. I know that sometimes when you look our society and you have wars now here and there, and you have this impression that wow, the world is getting worse and worse. Think about twice. Think about the past. So then you see that we're improving slowly, but we're improving. Kardec uses logic and reasoning to analyze this message. And he Jesus could not have consecrated such a principle. If according to the meaning that has been attributed to these two words, the spirit of evil has the power to perform such prodigies to the point the elect themselves are deceived. The result would be that, being able to do what God does. Prodigies and miracles are not the exclusive privilege of those sent by God. So it's very nice and deep reflection that Kardec start to put us on a spot to start think about logically and see what Jesus is trying to tell us. Then he continues, moreover, they would not prove anything, since nothing would distinguish the miracles performed by saints from the miracles performed by the devil. It is therefore necessary to look for a more rational meaning for these two words. Okay, so then Kardec is really digging deep here to try to understand what those two words really means. And then he brings that idea. Think about to uneducated common focus, like people that didn't have a lot of access to information and spiritual elevation, every phenomenon with unknown cause comes across as a supernatural, extraordinary, and miraculous, especially 2000 years ago. Once the cause is known, that's what Spiritism tried to explain. It is realized that the phenomenon, as extraordinary as it may seem, is nothing other than an application of a natural law. So that's why spiritists we don't believe in miracles because it has an explanation and that explanation follows natural laws. Sometimes you cannot explain because we didn't understand the law yet. And Kardec continues in this matter, the circle of supernatural events shrinks to the extent that the circle of scientific knowledge broadens. For example, there is a lot of research in the past done about turning tables and this phenomena, and the tables fly and the objects move. And the reality that happened in the past and it can still happen nowadays. But what's the meaning? What's the purpose? Why? Because when this happened in Kardec's time, had a purpose. And the purpose was really the spirits to show first, we exist, we can communicate. And then Kardec decodify what the messages were. So, and that's what matters. If we're still replicating what Kardec already explored, and if you want to know more, read the Medium's book. It did a lot of scientific experiments, many things reported, people that did many things that time. And every place in the world, they have those phenomena, but now it's move on to the phenomena. We need to move on just looking for the phenomena and looking the moral teachings. What's the moral message? What Jesus are inviting us to do? And then Kardec continues saying, for the advancement of their ambitions, interests, and domination, look at this, if that sounds familiar to you. Humans in all eras have exploited certain knowledge they possess in order to give themselves the prestige of a supposedly superhuman power or a supposed divine mission. Oh, yeah, we can spend hours and hours and hours here talking about how humans really use this knowledge and distorted Jesus' teachings to have an advantage. And we're still doing that because we're still stuck in our ego, in our pride. And then Kardec has explained these are the false Christ and false prophets, are those that take advantage of people in need, people that sell in a sense a place in heaven. So those that use the pain of others to take advantage emotionally or financially. The spreading of enlightenment destroy their credit. And that's the problem. Because when you face people that are religious leaders or spiritual leaders, and they are those ones that are false prophets. So they spread this. The person that are exposed to that is so self-destructive. Then they express to other people, and then we are losing credibility. And that's why their numbers are dwindled to the degree that people become enlightened. The fact that they perform what in the eyes of certain people come across as proteges is not, therefore, the sign of a divine mission, since it could result from knowledge that anyone may acquire or from special organic faculties that the most unworthy persons may possess, as well as the most worth. And here, Kardec is referring to mediumship. So, mediumship is organic. So, you don't need to be spiritist to have or spiritualist to have. Any humans have it in more or less extent. And if they possess that, they can use that. Some people use, for example, to take advantage. The fortune tellers, right? The readers of your destiny, your future. So they are using those as a strategy to, not all of them, but most of the time, unfortunately, they're not using for the purpose that they were invited. They deviate the purpose. On those that is called, Jesus was referring the false Christs and the false prophets. Those that use his teachings, disturb this teaching, change the teaching to get benefits, to manipulate. And we have, unfortunately, the story of humanity doing that over and over again. And then Jesus tell us, and is a great reminder, finishing the talk tonight, that true prophets are recognized by more serious, exclusively moral characteristics. If you want to know someone really well, looking their moral characteristics. Look if they're kind, if they are compassionate, if they are empathetic, if they're selfless, selfless, and think about any other virtues. Those are the true prophets. Those are the ones that really follow Jesus' teaching. Those that understood and help humanity to advance. So thank you very much for listening to me tonight, and I'm open for any questions that you may have.
Thank you so much, Rodrigo. It was really nice and very instructive, your talk tonight. And we need to pray and watch, right?
Oh yeah.
To understand. Yeah, we do have a couple of questions here. Um, Let me see here. We have one from our friend Rodrigo Farias. He asks, how can Spiritism can help us to identify a true prophet?
So in theory it's easy. In reality, it may be tricky
Mm-hmm.
because the advice from Christ is clear. A good tree give good fruits, a bad tree bad fruits.
Mm-hmm.
Your mouth speaks what you have in your heart. So if you
Yes.
take this to translate, everyone gives what they have. That's why we follow examples by attitudes, comments, good actions, charity, compassion, virtues. So those are the true prophets.
Mm-hmm.
But when we know people, there are some people has a lot of skills talking,
True.
and they may be you become admired at people, and you create this illusion, and then sometimes you get blind and you don't you see the attitudes, but it's not you kind of pretend that you didn't see. I'm going
Mm-hmm.
to do analogy. The same thing when we start a relationship that we
Mm-hmm.
think we fall in love.
Mm-hmm.
We saw the bad things, but we kind of okay, that's a one thing, one time thing, and then this start it repeats over again. Let's give an example. If you have someone in your environment, they like to talk behind other people back. They like to do gossip, and you see this once, twice, three times. What do you think? Are they be the true prophets?
Yeah.
So that's why don't listen to me. See what I do, then you're gonna know me.
Perfect. Yeah, it's true because sometimes we see people and even us, right? Saying something can do totally different, right?
Yeah, this is not all the time, because if it's all the time, it's you. But
Yeah.
sometimes we cannot follow through because we promise
Mhm.
something that's beyond our ability, because we're kind of in the, let's say, in the, we are very motivated. So, but if you have most of the time, that's why I say most of the time, good heart,
Mhm.
good intentions. That's why sometimes if I know Marcel, say, then you're good. And you said something to me that I didn't take well. Instead of assuming, so why I don't go and say, Marcel, when you said that,
Mhm.
it hurts me. I felt that way. And then you can, maybe you're gonna say, but Rodrigo, wasn't my intention. Because
Mhm.
I know you, right? So I know your essence. We jump to conclusion too quick. That's a problem.
Mhm.
I think we need to be more open to people and ask, this what you mean by that.
Mhm. And that's why the inner reformation is so important, right?
Yeah.
So we can challenge ourselves to get better every day and to become like a good tree and have good fruits, right?
Yeah.
I have a question here for you. Yay. It's for myself. So, how does Spiritism, actually, Spiritism, not spiritualism, Spiritism sees people um, who consider themselves prophets and use their mediumship to take advantage of others? Because you just said about like something that you I think one or two slides.
Yeah.
Um,
Before.
Yeah, before, thank you. You said something like that related to this,
Yeah.
so I was thinking about that.
Yeah. That's a kind of great question. So, what is Spiritism teach us? That we don't judge people, we judge wrong attitudes.
Mm-hmm.
So then what we should do in reality, if we're Jesus followers, we have to pray for them,
Mm-hmm.
try to bring them back to the path, to use that mediumship
Mm-hmm.
for their own good, because they're gonna face the consequences of the choices. It Our job is to help, not to judge. So that what we should do is not judge them
Mm-hmm.
and just pray for them and ask for their spiritual mentors and the spirituality to make them understand the purpose of their mediumship. And if you take advantage of someone, well, you're
It's
gonna pay.
your responsibility, right?
Yeah, and it's not you. So then, when the time will come, you have to face your own conscience,
Conscious, yeah.
and then we're gonna see, whoa, if I know that before, but we know because the moral code is ingrained in our conscience.
Yes,
I We used to joke, right? The voice of God is inside our conscience.
it's true. Thank you so much for your explanation, your reflection, the answer of the questions. Okay,
Thank
it
you
was
very
really
much. Thank you very much for having me again, and have a wonderful day, all of you, and I'll see you next time.
okay. Thank you. Bye bye. And thank you for your participation in the chat as well. So now we will move to the preparation for tonight's spiritual treatment. Pass is the transfusion of a spiritual energy with the goal of assisting with our physical, emotional, and mental balance. Passes help us to restore a state of harmony and peace by replacing negative energy with healthy and positive energy. In order to receive the best benefits from passes, please follow the audio instruction or remain in prayer. You may close your eyes to help with mentalization. During the pass, The water you set aside will also absorb the spiritual energy that your family and you can benefit from. Now, we will make a prayer in preparation for the pass, which will be our closing prayer as well. So I invite everyone to close your eyes if you wish. Dear God, we thank you for the opportunity to be here one more Tuesday in order to learn more about your teachings. Help us to become a good tree and to have good fruits. We ask you to cleanse our minds of anger and worry. We know that worry is not your desire for us, so we trust you to fulfill all our needs as you promised in your word to us. All the worries, fears, and trouble we have, we give it to you. We ask for peace to fill our heart, that we may rest in you and find peace. We ask you to for your forgiveness for anything that we have done that's against your example and your gospel. Um, and please help all the people whose names are in our vibration list. We also ask that may your love and peace reach our planet in this moment. Help us to become a better person every single day in our lives. And please, we ask you to fill our heart with your love. Thank you, God. In Jesus' name, amen.
Let us now prepare ourselves for the moment of the passes and the magnetization of water. Let's now calm our hearts, breathing in and out. Pay attention to your body. Focus on your breath and let yourself be carried by this energy. Let your thoughts pass by without judging them. Let them flow. Allow this light to be the beacon that guides you, and allow these words to penetrate your energy. Make each word an anchor of gratitude, faith, and trust. With the purpose of healing, which takes away my faith, healing every feeling of separation, of pain, let it all dissolve in this moment, leaving only love, gratitude, and trust. We ask God for the presence of our guardian angel and the friendly spirits who welcome us into this enlightened environment of our Spiritist Center. We open our plexus of love and forgiveness by mentalizing a light surrounding our hearts. Find a quiet and comfortable place to begin the mentalization process. Remove all worries from your thoughts. We ask that during the pass you breathe slowly and deeply. Let your body relax and surrender yourself to a deep meditation. Calmly imagine divine energies in soft and colorful light surrounding you in an environment of peace and spiritual warmth. Entrusting God with your most intimate desires, raise your thoughts to Jesus and the emissaries of the spiritual environment. The pass begins with the cleansing of your soul. Imagine a waterfall of crystal clear water pouring over us, removing all the feelings that keep you away from faith and trust. Feel the energy of this water bathing you and deeply breathe in, feeling peace and harmony. Allow this water to wash away all the impurities and spiritual larvae, washing away all the sorrows and resentments, any feelings of hatred and revenge that hold us back and cause us harm, not only from this life, but past ones as well. Now visualize spiritual doctors around you, applying magnetic cleansing passes, sanitizing your spiritual body of all sadness and negative energy. Mentalize these negative thoughts and feelings being washed away, evaporating from your soul, like water evaporating into thin air, and being carried far away from your mind. Surround yourself with the faith that bathes your being, bringing clarity and lucidity, rebalancing every cell in your body. May the water envelop all pain and bring the clarity of opportunity that chooses peace. The answer arises in our hearts, freeing us from all evil and freeing all whom we have caused evil into and who have caused us evil, washing away all the connections that bind us. Even though we may not understand, we are freeing ourselves from all that causes us harm. Feel this cleansing penetrate your soul and release. Now that we are spiritually cleansed, imagine yourself surrounded by the light of love from the hands of Jesus. At this moment, sing words of faith and gratitude, being faithful to the light that exists in me, planted by the zealous Father. Imagine the sunlight that surrounds and enraptures, freeing us from the chains of everything that holds us down, strengthening your faith. Allow yourself to trust in this light, surrender to it, involved in pleasant feelings and feeling relieved to receive the strengthening lights. Mentalize your spiritual mentors now applying divine light for the strengthening of your mind and your emotions, leaving you feeling emotionally revitalized. Let us now mentalize the magnetization of this water. May we mentalize all the friendly spirits, magnetizing this water and filling it with everything that our bodies, minds, and soul need, so that it may be of help to us when we drink it after the Pass. Thank you, God.
Thank you for joining us tonight. We will be back next Tuesday here on Spiritism Canada and Continental Conference Americas at 8:30 p.m. East, and next Wednesday on Kardec Radio at 8 p.m. East. And please don't forget to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube from the Spiritism Canada and the Spiritist group Path of the Light. Have a good night and see you next week.
to the world.